So, have you ever been in a room full of people you know care about you, but you still felt like you could just fade away? It's a strange feeling, right? Well, let's dive in and explore the psychology behind that exact feeling. I mean, this quote just hits so hard. It really gets to the core of it. It's not about whether people actually love you. It's this deep internal belief that your presence isn't, well, essential. It's a kind of quiet loneliness that can show up even when you're not technically alone. And that's the big question, isn't it? What is at the root of this feeling? If all the signs are pointing to you being loved and valued, why is there still that little voice inside that says, yeah, but they could easily find someone else? Well, it turns out this isn't just some random emotion that pops up out of nowhere. Psychologists have actually identified a really consistent pattern, one that usually starts way, way back. And giving it a name? That's often the first real step to understanding it. And here it is. It's a concept called the invisible child. Now, that phrase right there, simply overlooked, that is so key. We're not necessarily talking about a childhood of terrible abuse or obvious neglect. It's often something much quieter, much more subtle. It's about being a kid whose emotional needs just weren't seen. And that leads to becoming an adult who finds it incredibly hard to really accept care from others. Okay, so let's rewind. To really get a handle on the adult experience, we have to go back to the environment where this whole pattern first started to grow. It's a story that usually begins very quietly. And what's really important to get is that the parents or caregivers in the story, they usually weren't bad people. They weren't being intentionally cruel. A lot of the time, they were just overwhelmed, maybe stressed, or dealing with their own stuff. They made sure there was food on the table and a roof overhead, but that deeper emotional connection, something was missing. And this is the heart of it, just being overlooked. The child learns this powerful, unspoken lesson: my feelings don't really matter, or maybe I'm too much. So what do? They learn to be quiet, to be self-sufficient. They learn not to ask for things because deep down they've learned not to expect to receive them. And this just lays it out so clearly, right? It's a straight line. On one side, you've got the childhood experience, this feeling of being chronically unseen. And on the other side, you get the adult result, a real fundamental struggle to let care in. When someone tries to offer love or help, it can feel weird, or like you don't deserve it, or maybe even like it's some kind of trick. You see, that experience from childhood doesn't just vanish. It becomes this sort of unconscious blueprint, a set of instructions for how relationships are supposed to work. And you carry that blueprint with you into every friendship and every romantic relationship, and it shapes how you see everything. The technical term for this blueprint is an insecure attachment pattern. And what it means is that no matter how good things get, you fundamentally question if the love is real or if you're actually worthy of it. You're always kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. So let's break down what this actually looks like. It shows up as that nagging feeling that you're totally replaceable. It's constantly questioning your partner's love, even when they're showing you in every way they can. It's that real difficulty in just accepting a compliment or a kind gesture without feeling, I don't know, suspicious. And underneath it all is this core belief that affection isn't free, that you have to earn it by being perfect or useful. So really, you can boil this whole thing down to a simple two-step story. Step one, the emotional foundation gets laid when a child is overlooked. Step two, years, even decades later, that foundation shows up as an adult who feels insecure and invisible in their most important relationships. And this right here is the main takeaway. What started as a feeling in the past, that feeling of being invisible to the people who were supposed to see you the most, it doesn't just stay in the past. It actively builds your reality today, making you feel insecure even when you're completely safe. But here's the thing about a blueprint. Once you can see it and understand it, you can start to redraw it. And that leaves us with one last really powerful question. Because recognizing this pattern, that isn't about being stuck. It's the opposite. It's the first real step toward changing things. It's the moment you realize you have the power to finally see yourself. So you have to ask, if you stop being invisible, who do you finally get the freedom to become?